Hi everyone, this is Ashley Jones. In this lesson, I'm going to share with you how to use your My Quilt Planner embroidery software to plan the quilting layout on a quilt that you have embroidery designs on. Let's get started. In this case, it's very beneficial to import an image of your quilt. So take a photograph of your quilt, bring that photograph onto your computer, and then in your My Quilt Planner software, choose File and Load Backdrop. Go to the location of the image of your quilt and select it, click Open. Now we need to tell the software exactly what size this quilt is so that anything we put on the quilt will be to scale. We do this by choosing the option underneath our backdrop tool and click Define Scale. Now you are going to select one part of your quilt that you know the measurement for. So if you haven't already, take a measurement and enter it into My Quilt Planner. You'll click in one spot, hold down your mouse key, and drag to another location. You can do this for the entire quilt or maybe just one block. So my blocks are 8 inches. So I'm going to say OK, and that will adjust the size of my image to be the same size as my quilt. So now I'm going to zoom back out and let's enter our information into My Quilt Planner. So I'm going to choose my quilt option and enter the information about the quilt that I just imported the image of. So this particular quilt example is a 24 by 24 and my blocks are 8 inches. I don't have sashing and I'm not doing a border. So now let's color code our quilt. Now in my quilt example, I have embroidery designs in every other block, so I want that quilting design to avoid those embroidery files. So I'm going to select one color. I'm going to choose gray because I really don't want it to interfere with my designing. And I'm going to color the blocks that I have the embroidery designs in. And then I'm going to choose another color, and I'm just going to use a lighter gray and color the opposing blocks. Now the preview color has to do with my design showing up on my quilt, so I'm going to choose a dark color because I really want to see it well. And I'm going to reduce the opacity so we can see that this gray won't interfere with us designing our quilt. So I'm going to say OK. And you can see it placed this right on top of my quilt. I can see each one of my cell options. Now, one thing you might want to do is actually reduce the color of your quilt in the background. So if you click somewhere in the white part of your workspace, you'll see this backdrop tool option up here to the top right. I'm going to click my backdrop tab and I can adjust the darkness of my image. So this will allow me to see my quilting design much better. Okay, so now that we have our quilt set up, let's start doing the designing. Now I'm going to use the built-in designs, so you can duplicate this if you'd like. So in our gift box here, I'm going to just look through and see if there is a design I think would work to avoid our embroidery designs. So I'm going to choose this feather design and place it on my screen here, and then maybe resize that a little bit so that it fits better in my block. So I'm just clicking and dragging those corner pieces in order to fit in my block. So now what I want to do is copy and paste that same design and rotate it to get it all the way around to the other side. And then put it right into position. Okay, so now I've created a quilting design that will avoid my embroidery design. Now, of course, you can continue to make adjustments. You could rotate this around to see if you like this layout better. You could also choose different files to build a block design that will fit your option perfectly. You could always go and grab a different design for your blocks that don't have embroidery. Maybe we will choose this design, or there are some other singles here, maybe our matching feather designs. You can place and even copy and paste, rotate, and move that over a little bit. So creating a completely different design. So there we go. So the reason this one didn't show up as at first is because I actually had it slightly out of the area. So just make sure you move it right into your block. Now, of course, if you don't like what you've done, then just delete those designs and maybe go back and grab a different design that you'd like to use. So maybe something like this. And you could always use your fit to sell option. Hope you enjoyed this video.